open place of worship.
Yeah.
So how do you protect someone there?
Well, it goes back to the basics. Security isn't rocket scientists. You put people in place that their sole responsibility and duties is to assess people as they come through. We want you to usher into the Lord's house, which we're all charged to do. And take into account the biggest picture is when you leave is to go out and serve. But while we're on duty, we're stationed strategically throughout the facility, and we read people's body language. If they come and they talk to the pastor, we have the right to say, well, what is it? How may we help you? And even before we take you to the senior pastor or someone, we usually get someone like a deacon or a trustee or someone to try to ascertain. Sometimes when we get mental health people that come in and say, I need to talk to someone, they're following me, there's a voice or whatever. We do have, or it's always best to have professionals on staff, be it your nursing ministry, a mental health counselor. And like I said, most pastors may have some type of counseling background. But from a security standpoint, we try to protect the main players, so to speak.
And so when you go to church, you're armed?
Yes.
Do people get upset about that?
Some have, some question why, and we explain why. I think with what just went on, the norm and the trend is going to change. Since 9/11, security has been on the increase across the land, from Homeland Security to churches, faith-based organizations. There's been a number of incidences at mosques, at synagogues, at Christian-based facilities. So an armed personnel is a deterrent. Doesn't necessarily mean, we need to start shooting and make it the OK corral. No, but we do need to have certain systems in place that will help protect the body of Christ and the people that come to worship. Doesn't matter which type of facility you're based with, but they need to be able to feel protected.
And what you were describing too is you have the security personnel who do have uniforms on. But you also sometimes have security personnel who are plain clothed.
Yes.
And you described it almost like an air marshal on
Yes.
a plane. People don't know the person next to them in the pew could be an armed security guard.
That is correct. And that comes about as the undercover piece, or just so many people. Our armed guys and our uniformed guys, one of my rules of thumb is that we do not go in the sanctuary unless there's an emergency, because it's a sanctuary. It's a place where people encounter God. So within the sanctuary, we do have plainclothes officers, security force that watches and monitor not just the pastor and the officials of the church, but also the congregants. There's been a number of incidences of domestic abuse, and husband and wife come and they're going through a divorce, but nobody knows. So if they bring it to our attention and they have a PFA, protected from abuse order, they can let us know, and we can keep an eye on them. We can't necessarily say to the gentleman, well, you can't come and worship here, because he or she may be a member just as well. So if they bring it to our attention in a document form, we can say, okay, this lady, this gentleman has a protective abuse order, let's keep an eye on them.
It's just a hard concept, I think, for a lot of people to sort of ingest, to say armed security guards are needed in churches.
I think in light of what just went on in Charleston, how much more are we going to have to not be prepared for a very situation? Now, that's an isolated situation. The individual had a particular plan, and when you look at his plan as it's unfolded, that he came in with an intent to do some damage,